In this video, I'm going to talk about everything new that's come to Gorebox version 1.15.17.40 U6 Exp Beta. And the first change that's happened is that Gorebox now runs on the Unity 6 instead of the Unity 5 engine. And apparently, Unity 6 is better for performance, web development, and also AI integration, which is something new that we're seeing for the Go dolls these days. So does that mean that we're going to get even smarter Go dolls in the future? And now this is an experimental beta, not just a regular beta. So that does mean that certain features we're going to have in this update are not yet fully developed or polished and are still being actively worked on. Okay guys, so right now I'm in an older version of Gorebox. I've got an AK-47 right here, and when I walk into this wall right here, well, nothing really happens. But now I'm in the newer version of Gorebox, and you can even see that the gun graphics and color are a little bit different right now. And now when I walk into this wall right here, what you can see is that there's actually some sort of collision with the wall. This same collision can also be found with the setup with the default spawn Go dolls when I walk into them. Now also something else to show you guys is in the older version of Gorebox, if I aim at this dummy right here and I shoot at it, it gets shot. But right now I'm aiming at the dummy, and as you can see my gun is slightly behind this wall right here, and if I shoot the dummy right now, it still gets shot. But in the newer version of the game, if I do the exact same thing, as you guys can see, it's the wall that's getting shot instead of the target dummy. Okay, so right now under settings and graphics, we've got the simulated scopes option right here, which is of course experimental, and this is what it's supposed to look like in the final version of the game. But unfortunately, it still looks like this right now. Although,
how's it going?
Shut up, man! Although when you aim your guns at Go dolls, while the scope does show up, you can't really see anything inside the scope except for some blueness. If this is causing irritation for you, you can simply turn off the simulated scopes. However, right now I'm in the older version of Gorebox, and this is what the water looks like. I mean, it's pretty normal, I guess. But this is what the water looks like in the newer version of the game. So for example, I've got a car underwater in the older version, and well, it just looks like this. But in the newer version of the game, you can see that there are some ripples and there's a bit of distortion when you look at the car right now. So this is what the graphics look like in the older version of the game, and this is what they look like in the newer version of the game. So one of the things I'm noticing is that the clouds look a lot more prominent now. So in the older version of Gorebox, most of the fish that you caught look somewhat like this usually. And some of the new fish that I've been able to fish out of the water in this new update includes this big fella. I'm not really sure what he's called. We've got this big boy right here. We've got a jellyfish, pink jellyfish, this swordfish. And on Camiflex's channel, I noticed that you can also catch some weird eel-like creatures. Okay guys, now I want to find out how much each of these fishes retail for. So I'll go to static, building, and spawn in this crate pile right here. Now I'll go to props, decoration, and spawn in bin number 2 right here. Let's put this big fella inside and let's take it to the crates. And we got 111 Go-Bucks for that. That's pretty good. What about this guy right here? 114. That's even better. What about this pink jellyfish? 66. Not too bad. What about the swordfish? 86. Okay. What about this blue jellyfish? 17. Pathetic. What about this gigantic fish? 146. Okay, that's pretty good. What about this little fella right here? 12. Get the heck out of here. Okay guys, so a new change that has come to this latest version of the game on the plains map is that we've got this little cross right here. Not really sure why. I think it's just a new design of sorts. Now I'm on the slightly older version of Gorebox in the sea map, and this is what it looks like. But in the new map, this is what it looks like instead. So the textures of the floor have been changed a little bit. I do think it looks nicer. Also, the whole map is kind of brighter in the older version. In the newer version, it looks slightly more darker. So in the older version of Conspiracy, none of the street lights seem to turn on at night. In the newer version, however, they seem to have a slight brightness at least. Okay guys, so another thing about this update that a lot of y'all have been telling me about is that it's now not really possible to use this default spawn Go doll to beat the Observer. Earlier you could set him as invulnerable and the Observer would spawn somewhere around here and keep attacking him and he would completely ignore you as you went around the map collecting the blueprints. And earlier you could also just shove him inside Jeter's hotel right here, and the observer would be busy trying to get to him. But right now the observer just doesn't care about you, my little guy. You're just not that important to him anymore. Just forget about him, bro. Also, now when you try to beat the observer, he spawns just right in front of you and kills you before you can even get out of the lake. So one little cheat that I found out is using the interact mode for the fizz gun. Then you want to stand right on top of these crates right here. Then aim at the area between these two trees right here, right under the docks, and keep pressing the button for your fizz gun to interact, and you should be able to activate the boss fight right here. So the thing that I like to do right now is grab this little pistol in front of this house, grab the blueprints right here, got another one right here, and if the observer gets too close you can just shoot him a couple of times. Okay, so right now I'm in Jeter's hotel. I've closed the door behind me, and a little gripe that I have with the current update is, look what happens when I try to get out of this door right here. I get stuck because apparently my pistol is touching the door frame right here, even though I'm technically not really doing that. So that's something that's kind of annoying, and I hope that F2 Games fixes this soon because it's kind of ruining my boss fight experience. Okay, so as you guys can see, the observer has managed to enter Jeter's hotel even though all of the doors and windows were locked. So this is very annoying, and it kind of becomes impossible to beat him now, at least for a player like me. Screw you, man. Now I want to talk about some bugs in this game that need to be fixed soon. So right here I've got some stairs in front of me, and I can't really walk on top of them properly. I just get stuck on them. Now I'm going to close these doors, and I'm going to spawn in a Godol with AI enabled right here. And he doesn't open them, he just breaks through them. So that's another bug that needs to be fixed. Dude, stop bugging out, man. Okay guys, so this is what the Shadow Mutants look like right now in the game. But on the F2 Games Discord server, GDev asks us to choose between these three designs for the new Shadow Mutant. And players overwhelmingly chose the third design as the best one. Apparently they were also supposed to have tusks and hollow pupils as mentioned by Russian Dead, but these have been cancelled by GDev. Next, Gubza has mentioned that he's going to add a tank to the game once he gets back to development. Click here to watch the previous updates that have been added to Gorebox. I've been Jazif, you've been my audience, thank you for watching, and goodbye.